Honestly, you could spend a lifetime visiting Banff, but what if you only had one single day? That's it, one day. Well, a question I guess worth asking is it worth it? And the answer is absolutely yes, it is. So that being said, here is my ultimate one-day itinerary of Banff. But before we jump in, I'm actually going to create 3 separate one-day itineraries in this video of Banff National Park, so you have a few different choices. All right, our first itinerary is entirely in and around the townsite of Banff. Now, honestly, you could spend many days here, so even narrowing it down to one single day means, look, you're not gonna see it all. I mean, I've been to the park hundreds of times and I haven't even seen close to all of it. But you can still see quite a bit in one day. Now, honestly, I've squeezed a lot into this one day, probably too much. So if you feel like it's too much for you, just adjust the itinerary to your own pace. Now, I've added a few options along the way, just in case you have, more time and perhaps more energy. Okay, we're gonna start the day with 2 separate options. All right, the first is sunrise at Vermilion Lakes. Now, it's only a few minutes from the town of Banff. It's easy to get to, and the sunrise over Mount Rundle and, of course, the lake reflections are incredible. Now, the second option is sunrise at Two Jack Lake, and honestly, this is one of my favorites. The lake is about 15 to 20 minutes from the center of the Banff town site. Now, drive carefully, particularly if it's dark, as I've seen many elk and deer in this area. In fact, I've also seen bear in this area. Anyway, Two Jack Lake has one of the best reflections of Mount Rundle, and if you're into photography, you will not be disappointed. Unless, of course, it's raining or snowing and, you can't see the mountain. Then you will be disappointed. All right, after you've enjoyed the view and, of course, a few epic photos, it's now time for breakfast and a coffee, so we'll head back into town. Now, because we're back in town and parking is not always, easy to find, well, let's stay central for a while. If you enjoy shopping or browsing, you will be able to do that in town. Banff Avenue is the main area for shopping, and you'll find tourist stores, clothing stores, and many galleries. Most stores actually don't open until about 10 a.m. Now, if you do have time to kill before the stores open, there are some smaller gardens and bridges where you can wander, or you can walk to the end of Banff Avenue to Cascades of Time Gardens for a spectacular view of the town, with, of course, Cascade Mountain in the background. All right, if you want some other options, there are actually some really good museums in the townsite area, and they include the Banff Park Museum National Historic Site, the White Museum, and the Buffalo Nations Museum. Okay, now it's time to eat again. And once again, many options are available in the town of Banff, and most of those options are either on or just off of Banff Avenue. Okay, it's time to leave the town site and head up to Sulphur Mountain and the Banff Gondola. Now, before we head to the Banff Gondola, here's another option. If you do have time for a detour, or if you ate early, the cave and basin isn't far from town and usually takes about an hour to see. Now, this is a wonderful site, and basically it's where the National Park of Banff began. Okay, the Banff Gondola. Now, I'm a big fan of the Banff Gondola, but it does get very busy in the summer, kind of like everything else, so make sure you book your tickets well in advance. And while I think it is worth it, it's not really what I would call a cheap attraction. However, the views of the town of Banff, the surrounding mountains, and the valleys, well, they're pretty amazing. Now, once you are at the top, make sure you take advantage of the incredible boardwalk system that takes you around the very top of Sulphur Mountain. Okay, when you take the gondola down, you'll actually be within walking distance of the Upper Hot Springs pools. Okay, this is actually a wonderful facility. It's relatively affordable, and it's a great way to warm up if you got the chills at the top of Sulphur Mountain. All right, here's another little excursion, presuming you have some time. Look, you may not, but if you do, it's a relatively quick one. The drive around Tunnel Mountain is wonderful and won't take too long. It's actually a short 5-kilometer round trip, and there are several beautiful turnoffs and viewpoints with great views, including the Hoodoos viewpoint. There's also some great hiking in Tunnel Mountain as well. All right, let's end the day with a final flourish and head to the world-famous Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. Parking is available on the street, but it is limited, and I've actually not successfully found an open parking space here in many years, although my brother did recently, which was really annoying. Now, there's also a parking garage next to the hotel as well. Now, you can wander around this historic hotel. You can grab a coffee, a cocktail, or a late dinner. You can take in the views, and if you're lucky, you may even make contact with one of the many ghosts. Okay, if you want to see a waterfall, well, there's one very close. In fact, beneath the Banff Springs Hotel is the popular Bow Falls. Popular meaning popular for photographs, selfies, and that sort of stuff. And finally, as the sun sets and your legs start to tire, let's head over to Surprise Corner for that postcard view of Banff's most famous building. All right, well, that's the first of 3 one-day itineraries in Banff. But don't leave, because it actually only gets better and better. That being said, let's go to the second one-day itinerary of Banff National Park. Okay, well, let's move on to our second one-day itinerary of Banff. And today, well, today is going to be a real doozy. I mean, fair to say, we're going to visit some of Banff's most beautiful places, and honestly, probably some of the most famous and beautiful places in the world. But this day is for those who don't mind putting a few miles on their shoes, because yeah, we're going to walk a bit. All right, we're going to start with another early morning, which, by the way, is the key to avoiding some of the crowds, but also seeing Banff at its most beautiful. But it's worth it, because today we're visiting Moraine Lake at sunrise. Well, let's start with a fairly important fact. You cannot drive to Moraine Lake. So, if you want to stand on that rock pile at sunrise, you've got 2 options. You can either book a Parks Canada shuttle, or you can book a private tour. Oh, actually, you are permitted to bike there too, but Parks Canada rates the 14-kilometer ride as difficult. Now, the first key to enjoying your time at Moraine Lake is that you must book the shuttle or tour many weeks in advance. But, once you're there and you climb the rock pile trail and you soak it all in, well, it all of a sudden makes sense. So don't rush it. Just sit, stay, and watch the sunrise. Okay, well, we don't have all day. Now let's head over to the incredible Lake Louise. So we now leave one of the most famous lakes in the world and head to even, perhaps, a more famous one, the incomparable Lake Louise. Well, Lake Louise is one of Canada's most celebrated mountain destinations, famous, of course, for its brilliant turquoise water, the surrounding peaks, and the towering Victoria Glacier at the end of the lake. The lake shore is an ideal place to slow down and enjoy the scenery. A paved shoreline path offers easy walking as well as spectacular views. Now, in summer, you can rent a canoe and paddle across the calm water for that unique perspective of the glacier and mountains. The rental costs, though, they tend to be a little steep, very expensive actually. Now, the historic Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise overlooks the lake and is a great place to grab a coffee, get a pastry, and simply enjoy the view. Now, most visitors to Lake Louise, they head to the water's edge, they take a photo, a selfie, maybe go in and buy a sticker or a fridge magnet and leave. Well, you're not going to do that. You're going to do something better. Well, you don't have to, but if you don't, you're missing out. The trail to the Lake Agnes Tea House leaves right from the shores of Lake Louise and then switchbacks up into the mountains. About 3.5 kilometers long, 400 meters of elevation gain to, honestly, one of the most charming destinations in the entire Rockies. The tea house itself dates back to 1901. Now, there's no road to it, so everything up here, the flour, the tea, the supplies, well, it comes in the hard way by helicopter and, hiking all the way up the mountain. Now, if your legs have more in them, you can actually push past the tea house and go all the way up to the Big Beehive for one of the most amazing views of any in the Canadian Rockies. Most visitors move within the park by, of course, using the Trans-Canada Highway, and this makes sense. It's easy, it's fast, it's 4 lanes, but you'll also miss some of the most beautiful areas, as well as the opportunity to see wildlife. So running alongside the Trans-Canada Highway is something far better, and that's the Bow Valley Parkway. It's slower, quieter, lined with timber and meadow, and you'll be far more likely to see a bear or some elk. Well, when you start heading south on the Bow Valley Parkway from Lake Louise, you'll actually come to a humble little pullout with an enormous reputation. That is Moraine Curve. At this location, the Bow Valley curls in the foreground, the mountains pile up behind, and the steel rails draw your eye right through the frame. And if you time it right, if you're patient and perhaps a little lucky, perhaps a lot lucky, a freight train comes rolling through the curve and you get the shot that, made this place legendary. A little further down the Bow Valley Parkway, you'll actually arrive at our final destination of the day, the incredible Johnston Canyon. This is one of the most beloved hikes in all of Banff. The hike itself, which is pretty easy, is also very spectacular and features a series of steel catwalks bolted directly into the canyon walls. The lower falls come first, an easy walk, a little over 1 kilometer, ending at a short cave-like passage that then opens onto the waterfall. Push on and the trail climbs to the upper falls, taller and more dramatic, about 2.5 kilometers into the hike. If you have the time and the stamina, another 3 kilometers will take you all the way to the ink pots. So there you go, the second one-day itinerary, and definitely the most exhausting. And by the way, if you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks. Welcome to your third one-day itinerary option here in Banff. Now, this day has less movement, more driving, and if it's possible, more beauty. In fact, this is a day that you'll likely never forget because you're going to see 4 of the most beautiful lakes in the world. Not just some of the most beautiful lakes here in the Canadian Rockies, nope, the world. Our morning, once again, starts very early with Moraine Lake. And as you know, Parks Canada closed the access road to private vehicles, and I guess honestly, they kind of had to. So a friendly reminder that you need to book a shuttle or tour well in advance. Moraine Lake sits in the Valley of the 10 Peaks, ringed by 10 mountains that, for decades, were so iconic they appeared on the back of the Canadian $20 bill. Now, we've already talked about Moraine Lake, but really, it's so special, and it's worth getting up early in the morning to experience. As a reminder, take your time here. Take lots of photos and enjoy nature at its peak. All right, kind of the same as day 2, let's head up the hill to Lake Louise. And for many visitors, Lake Louise is the highlight of their trip to the Canadian Rockies. So once again, take your time. Walk around the lake or just spend time taking it all in. And one of those things to take in is the incredible Fairmont Chateau, Lake Louise. The chateau was originally built by the Canadian Pacific Railway in the late 1800s to attract visitors to the Rockies. If you want to take it a little slower, which you should, grab a coffee and some food inside the hotel. All right, it's time to leave Lake Louise and head north. Now, if you didn't grab a bite to eat up at the lake and you're hungry, well, you can grab something to eat in the village. And oh yes, be sure your car has a full gas tank because the distance between gas stations, well, is quite considerable. Okay, we're about to enter the Icefield Parkway, one of the most spectacular drives anywhere on Earth. The parkway begins at Lake Louise and ends up in the town of Jasper, more than 200 kilometers away. About 40 minutes north of Lake Louise, you'll reach Bow Lake. If you're driving the Icefields Parkway, Bow Lake is one stop that's worth more than a quick photo. I mean, I think this lake is so exquisite. Now, one of the great things about Bow Lake is that it's so easy to access. Just steps from the parking lot. In fact, you'll find one of the largest lakes in Banff National Park, fed by water flowing from the Bow Glacier high above. And by the way, the water flowing from Bow Glacier eventually becomes the Bow River, winding through Banff, Canmore, Calgary, and then across the prairies before joining larger river systems. So don't just pull over, take a photo and leave like everybody else. Spend a little more time here. Walk the shoreline, listen to the wind across the water, and watch the light change on the surrounding peaks. Bow Lake has a way of slowing you down, and that's exactly what makes it memorable. All right, next is Peyto Lake, and this is one of those places that, almost doesn't look real. From the viewing platform, the brilliant blue water stands out against the surrounding mountains, creating one of the most recognizable scenes in all of Canada. Getting here is pretty easy. It's a short uphill walk from the parking area that leads to the main viewpoint, making this one of the most accessible, of course, and spectacular views in all of the park. And I'm going to repeat myself, spend a few extra minutes here. Watch the clouds drift across the peaks. Notice how the color shifts as the sun moves, and appreciate that every visit offers a slightly different view. Peyto Lake isn't just a famous viewpoint, it's a front row seat to a mountain landscape that's still evolving. All right, the third and final one-day itinerary to Banff National Park, and frankly, my favorite of the three. Well, I hope you enjoy your visit to the park, and if you want to learn more about visiting Banff, check out one of my other videos right here.